The evolving objectives for the year's second space shuttle mission led NASA to change some of its efforts on its trip to the International Space Station. One of the new additions, veteran astronaut Jim Ross, has been tapped as an extracurricular crew member for this flight, thanks in part to his expertise on the station, developed through training as a member of the second expedition crew.
Of course, the spacewalk is kind of my main job up to this point on the shuttle flight. And the reason I was assigned this is because of my previous experience with EVA on sts101eva, and I've been preparing for EVAs on space station for the last 4 years.
He'll be joined on the scheduled 6.5-hour excursion by spaceflight rookie Jeff Rhodes. For more than a year, Williams has been learning about spacewalking and the tasks required on this flight, while keeping in mind that he's headed to a unique workplace to perform them.
I will be managing all my own pieces of equipment and hardware in very great detail. But also take the time to look around and see the creation below me.
While Williams moves himself across the shuttle's payload bay and up and down the station, Voss will spend most of his time during the spacewalk secured to the end of the shuttle's robotic arm, which will be operated by mission specialist Mary Ellen Weber. On this mission, she and the spacewalkers face a special challenge to completing the job.
The first thing is that this space station back is just a couple of feet away from our windows that we use to look out into the payload bay. We have extremely limited views of the payload bay.
So, Weber will move Voss and a variety of cargo from place to place based on what she can see on a series of computer-generated displays and through the cameras in the payload bay.
So we use these cameras to see where we are, and that adds further complexity because the camera view is different from her view, which is different from my view. So we've worked out a system to use. Usually we go to move us either the port or starboard side of the space shuttle or up and down within the bay, or we can fly closer to structure or further away from structure, and she can take any of those inputs and move us in the correct direction.
Pilot Scott Horowitz will be orchestrating the activities inside and outside the shuttle and communicating with Williams and Voss after he helps them into their spacesuit.
We'll get up that morning, get them fed, get them dressed, get them in the airlock, pick them out the door, probably send your kid to school when it's snowing out. And then all the work outside begins.
Williams and Voss will begin by checking the Orbital Replacement Unit Transfer Device, the OTD, which was installed on pressurized mating adapter number 1 during last year's assembly mission.
Our first task will be to remake what we call OTD. It's basically a crane to equipment for subsequent work on the space station. In post-flight picture analysis from this DS-96, it was discovered that this OTD had been moving, had been rotating apart in space, and that's not the way it should be performed. It should be fixed. And we're going to look at the interface where this crane plugs into a socket on the space station and see if we can fix it. And if several different things might try, hopefully the easiest thing is just take it out, put it back in again, and it'll lock in place this time. And if it doesn't, then we have other contingencies of trying other places, or perhaps even bringing it into the station so that we can look at the mechanism and see what's wrong with it.
Once the OTD task is complete, they'll turn their attention to a second cargo crane.
It's called the sts101eva. It's a Russian piece of hardware. It has an expandable boom that you can use for moving people or equipment around on the space station. A piece of it is already up there. We're bringing up the boom itself and an extension to the boom. So we're taking several components up to mate with one of the components that sts-96 took up last year. And we will assemble that on PMA-2 and then relocate it on PMA-1 so that it is out of the way for subsequent missions as the assembly process continues.
Next up, federal tasks on and around the Unity module, beginning with the port side antenna for the early communications system.
And one of those antennas, one of the two, has had part of it that failed. Ostensibly, the piece of it that is not fully functional. So we're going to change out one of those. Luckily, it's one of the tasks that I was already doing part of for our space station flight that we were scheduled for, so this was a relatively easy one for me to train for.
Finally, they'll install a series of handrails to assist future spacewalkers and a cable for a centerline camera to aid future shuttle dockings to the station. With the scheduled work outside the station complete, Williams and Boss will re-enter Atlantis Airlock, looking ahead to their planned entry into the new space station the following day.